No.
Okay, so hello, Lions family. Roar. And so I just want to make sure that you guys are all awake and that we're all having a good time. So I'm going to tell you guys a little joke. All right? So there are two muffins in an oven, and one muffin says to the other, "Wow, it's hot in here, isn't it?" And the other muffin says, "Ah, a talking muffin." Alright, so my name is Wes Prankard, and to tell you a little bit about myself, I live in Niagara Falls. I'm surprisingly 13 years old, and actually this little boy here in the front, I looked exactly like him about a year ago, especially with the amazing hair. But one other thing about me is that I am a philanthropist. This afternoon, my goal is to challenge you. I'm challenging you because you have a voice. And I know that we can't do everything, but we can certainly do something. So throughout this whole presentation, I'm going to be showing you pictures, I'm going to show you some videos, and I'm going to tell you some stories that I learned over the past 3 years. 3 years ago, my dad had showed me pictures of this place called Attawapiskat. As he was showing me these pictures, he was telling me a bunch of stories and some facts about the community. Some of the facts were that the population is about 1,500 people, and 1,000 of them are homeless. There's one tap in the whole community to retrieve drinking water. There's a huge housing crisis, and it's been in the news for the past couple weeks, and even Red Cross has committed to try and help out. There's no school, no playgrounds, and no hope. This picture here is a typical tent house. Basically, it's just a wooden frame with a tarp over it. And you can just imagine people living up north in that. And you can just, it's minus 40 weather, it probably gets colder. And the surprising thing that really surprised me is that this is in Ontario, let alone Canada. One story that my dad had learned and passed on to me from Attawapiskat was Oliver's story. Now, of course, that's not the picture he showed me because I'm in it, but I do look very weird. So that little baby boy there, his name is Oliver. And when he was born, he had a heart defect, so he had to get surgery for it. Now, the surgery went great, but the doctor said that Oliver has to go home to, a safe house. He can't be around sickness, can't be around disease, can't be too hot, can't be too cold. And he went back home to that. That's a picture from his house. And as you can see, that black on the roof there, that's black mold. And that is really similar to most of the houses in Attawapiskat, the condemned in black mold. And Oliver had to go home to that. Also, what you can realize in that picture is the frost that is getting in his house. And the doctor said it can't be too cold. But his dad, he couldn't do anything about it. He didn't have the money to help out Oliver in the ways that Oliver should have been helped, and so Oliver had to go home to that. So after hearing all of these crazy stories and just seeing how these people are living, I really decided that I needed to make a difference. So now every March break, I camp out for 48 hours to raise money and awareness for the kids of the North. For the first two campouts, we raised around $10,000 and 24,000 pounds of food and clothing. And my third campout, which was 2 weeks ago, and we camped out for 50 hours. It was me and a bunch of other kids, and we have raised close to 6,000 for my projects in the North. And basically, the reason that I camped out was because of the tent house. Seeing that picture, it really motivated me because I wanted to see how these people were living in a tent in the winter. And so to actually feel how it was, I camped out. And so after my first camp out, this organization called Air Quebec contacted me and said, "We would like to give you a free ride to Attawapiskat." They heard what I was doing and was really inspired by the story, and they really wanted to get me up there. And when I was up in Attawapiskat, I saw a lot of the things that my dad had showed me, and I met a lot of the people my dad had talked about in the stories. And I spent a whole day going to school in the portables. They don't have a school, and I'll be talking about that a little bit more. But there in Attawapiskat, I met a bunch of really, really great friends. And I wanted to meet more kids. So I asked my best friend up there, his name is Rob Kustash, and I asked him, so Rob, where's the playground? And he said, well, there isn't one. And just what went through my head right there was just crazy. I mean, they don't even have a playground, and yet they live in Canada. And so I decided that I had to do something about it. When I got home, my dad had found about this thing called the Pepsi Refresh Project. Basically, people will submit their ideas, and people will vote on that idea. The idea with the most amount of votes will win. We worked really, really, really hard at it. We went crazy on like Facebook and Twitter, and we were making videos, and we talked to tons of people. At the end of the contest, our idea had actually won, and Attawapiskat was getting a playground. But playgrounds do not cost $25,000. Playgrounds cost a lot more. In fact, they cost around $100,000. But I knew I couldn't quit. I couldn't quit because I made a promise. I made a promise to this community saying, I will help you out, I will bring equality in some way. And I couldn't break my promise because my promise to this community was my biggest motivation. The government has promised over and over again at Attawapiskat a bunch of stuff, but they broke their promises over and over again. And the reason why Attawapiskat has no hope, from one man who told us, he said, people will come here and they'll say this is horrible, and they'll say we're going to help, and they leave and never come back. And so I really wanted to keep my promise. And so after a whole year of fundraising, I did a bunch of charity events. Like I walked to Attawapiskat. Now, I didn't actually walk there. You have to take a plane. But I walked the exact kilometers it would take to get there around my community. I also did the camp out again, but that time trying to get the playground up there. And our idea had, my promise was actually fulfilled. I was actually able to build the playground. And so I know that the Lions, they entered in the Pepsi Refresh project, and some of you might be fond of the commercials that they had, and this is one of them.
Welcome to the Pepsi Refresh Project. This year we're giving away over $1 million to make Canada a better place. True North Aid from Ottawa won a $25,000 Pepsi Refresh grant.
There is not a playground in Attawapiskat. The children are just playing in mounds of dirt.
We made a bunch of videos to get all the votes possible. Now we can put a smile on all the kids' faces in Attawapiskat because we are definitely building a playground there.
Submit and vote for your favorite ideas. Choose the cola that's refreshing Canada.
So that was the journey of getting a playground in Attawapiskat. I mean, it was a great journey, and it was so inspiring to me. And one story that really inspires me, and it's a great example of youth making a difference, is the story of a girl named Shannon Kustashin. Now, Shannon went to school in Attawapiskat, and as I said earlier, they didn't have a school. It was all portables, and some of you might know what portables are. It's basically when a part in the school is going under construction, and they put portables for that class, so that the kids can actually go to class while it's on construction. The thing is, though, 32 years ago, the school in Attawapiskat had to be taken down because there was a diesel spill under the school. And there was 100,000 liters of diesel fuel under the school. Kids were getting sick, they were getting nosebleeds, they were fainting in class, and the parents finally said, we're not taking our kids to school until this is fixed. So the government says, okay, we'll build you a new school. So they tear down their school, put new soil over the contaminated land, put portables on top of it, and say this is only temporary. That was 32 years ago. So the kids, they are still in the portables, and Shannon decided that she had to do something. And so the grade 8s, for their trip, they come to Canada. They come to Niagara and Toronto, and they go to Clifton Hill and Marineland and all that cool stuff. And so Shannon said, I'm not going to Niagara. I'm going to go to Ottawa, and I'm going to fight for a real school. And Shannon's trip in Ottawa didn't go so well. And so when she got home, she was talking to her friends. She said, I'm going to start writing letters. And that's all she had to do. She just started writing letters to the government saying, we want a real school. Then her friends started writing letters to the government saying, we want a real school. Then her whole school started writing letters to the government saying, we want a real school. Soon enough, kids all over Canada, schools from across Canada, were writing to the government saying, Attawapiskat deserves a real school. And this whole movement started with one girl saying, this isn't right. I want to make a difference. And the thing is, it was a school, and Shannon Kustashian, living in Attawapiskat, could have asked for so much more. She could have asked for help in the housing crisis. She could have asked for tons of stuff. But she asked for a school, because that's all she wanted, was an education. Now, Shannon Kustashian was going to school down south because she wanted to be a lawyer. And while she was down there, she got in a horrible car crash, and she didn't survive. But that didn't stop her family and friends. That didn't stop any of her supporters. And they continued what is now called Shannon's Dream, which is for all Aboriginal communities to have safe and equitable schools. And so Shannon was definitely my hero. I never got to meet her, but I know that she was my hero. And not too long ago, Shannon's Dream was put into the House of Commons for vote, and it was passed anonymously. So everybody said yes. And so, what?
Keep going.
What? Unanimous? So, Shannon Kustashian used her voice, and her dream is changing our world. And I can just see it now. Every single northern community having everything we do. Every Aboriginal child having a safe place to play. Every First Nations person being able to say that they have a home. And things like this should never happen. And I would like you all to close your eyes right now. Just close your eyes. And imagine some third world country like Africa. Now imagine all your family and friends, they're in that situation. Imagine that third world country being in your own neighborhood. Now open your eyes and realize that there are people living in a third world country just 12 hours away. Now that green arrow is where Attawapiskat is, and the red arrow is St. Catharines. And so you can just see that's in Ontario. And I can tell you right now, this isn't charity. It's not charity at all. It's making things right. It's turning something into what it should be and should have been that isn't even close to what it should be. And when you think about it, this is not something that you can just pass by. This isn't like broccoli at dinner, where you can just choose not to eat it. And I plan on changing this, one starfish at a time. And in this generation, we can now say that we do not have to stand for this. We can make a difference. But instead, we think we don't. And the reason that we think that we don't is because we think we don't. And you think that as soon as you think you can, you have to. But and so that's right though, because as soon as we think we can, we can. So in order to make a difference, we have to know that we can make a difference. And so I want to tell you this story. It's called the Starfish Story. And it's a pretty big story, and we named our charity after it. So basically, there's this man walking on a beach. And as he's walking in the distance, he thinks he sees a dancing figure. But as he gets closer, no, it's not a dancing figure. It's a little boy picking up starfish and throwing them in the water. Now the man walks up to the boy and he says, "Why are you doing this?" And the boy says, "Well, because if I don't, they'll all die." And so the man says, "Well, look, there are thousands and thousands of starfish. There was a storm last night. There's miles of them. You can't possibly make a difference. And the boy picks up a starfish, throws it in the water and says, I just made a difference to that one. And here are two Leos who are inspired to do something, and that's all it takes. One little spark, and boom. And I would like them to stand up, please. They went upstairs? No, they camped out in their garden shed to raise money and awareness for my project. So I know that I'm preaching to the choir. You guys are doing this crazy stuff. You're building a dog guide training facility. You're assisting with medical bills. You've helped Japan during the time of the tsunami. You have your site programs, your youth programs, services for children, international relations programs, community and environment programs, health programs, and disaster relief. I'm now challenging you to connect with this generation's youth. Us kids do have a voice, but over the course of years, teachers and adults have lowered the expectations and expect youth today to be lazy. So why not raise them back up? You guys have crazy potential to inspire children all over the world, to let them know that they have a voice. And a great way to do that is with the Leos clubs. And because trust me, when you invest time in your youth, you will get a great outcome. But don't take that from me. Take it from kids like Shannon. And now I'm going to leave you with this video. But before I do, I just want to tell you that we do have a table just out in the hallway. So if you have any questions, if you want to see any more, we have a bunch of pictures out there. You can go to that. And then beside our table, there is a girl. Her name is Kathy, with a K. And Kathy Jocelyn, and she's selling some awesome jewelry that my eyes can't get her off, that my mom can't get her eyes off. So she's beside us. So, but yeah, here's this video. Thank you guys so much for having me.
presentation like that. It'd be pretty hard to top. I guess we can take one message back with us today, and that's youth can make a difference. Whether it's through our Leo's clubs or inspiring the youth of our community to go out and make a difference in the world. If we take one thing back with us today, I'm sure that's it. If I had to describe Wes, it would probably be the same as Jim Buchner. Small of stature, big of heart. I've heard Wes speak on a few occasions now, and I've been really impressed with his tenacity, his courage, and his determination to make the world a better place. Wes is like us. He believes. He believes that in what he does. He has a vision, he established goals, and through his own selfless dedication, he's gone out and tried to make a difference in one small portion of our world. He exemplifies service to others and has inspired other students to go out and serve their communities and raise money for charitable causes. I think you should visit his table and get his autograph, because I'm sure he's going to be an important person somewhere down the line. And his autograph may be worth some money. On behalf of the Lions, Lioness, friends and guests of District A2, I would like to thank you, Wes, for your inspirational story. And I hope you keep up the good work. And to help you along the way, I have a bit of money. The district has donated $700 towards Wes's cause. And not to be outdone, the convention committee has committed $500 towards Wes's fund. I am Wes's official driver and bodyguard.
I used to be that size. A little bit. Out a whole lot. I'll tell you, when I was 13 years old, I wouldn't even say my name in public, let alone get up there and speak like that. Congratulations, phenomenal job, and I wish you the very, very best. And you'll be after a new national director's job one day, I'm sure.